This is Season 7, Episode 147 on the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.
Sometimes the important thing is not the number of miles you've driven, but what's going on inside your head while driving. The Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast will stimulate your mind and keep you company while on the road. Join us for education, motivation, and inspiration from wherever you may be in our nation. You'll hear roundtable discussions about important information that's impacting our industry. Plus, you'll learn more about new technology, equipment, driving opportunities, safety, and operations. Get driver success and fitness tips to keep you profitable, safe, healthy, as well as entertaining stories from the road. And don't you know, we've all got a few of those. We might be traveling in different directions, but we're all part of one driver community at the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. With your host, trucker Tim Cicciarelli.
Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 147 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. Tim Cicciarelli here, otherwise known as Trucker Tim. Thanks so much for letting me be with you today. This is going to be a great episode. I know I say that every single time, but today we have two very special guests joining us. And these guests have been with Stevens a very long time. So if you are someone who is thinking about embarking upon a new career, looking for a way to make some money for your family, for the long haul, we got you. Stay with us. Joining us is someone who has been with Stevens Transport for a quarter of a century, over 25 years. If that doesn't tell you that this is an amazing place to work, I don't know what does. To give up that much of your life to help people change their lives. We're going to be talking to Miss Josie Garza coming up shortly. A ton of information if you are thinking about a career in transportation, and one here at Stevens Transport in particular. We'll also have a driver spotlight. We'll pull some audio off a video that you can find in the Stevens Transport YouTube channel. And we're going to kick off this episode with one of my favorite guests, not only because he's a super nice guy, but secondly, he's just so fun to be around and has a ton of knowledge to drop down to you. This is part 2 in our series of Journey to a Million Miles on our Stevens Roundtable with John Tahbonemah. Here in Season 7 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast, we have a brand new series for you, somebody on the other side of the speakers who are thinking about perhaps embarking upon a career in transportation, and in particular with Stevens Transport. Now, in our last episode, we spoke with Robert Wall, the director of the Stevens Driving Academy, and he explained how it works there at the Academy, how long you go to school, and what the next step is. And right now, we are talking to the gentleman, and I have to laugh when I say the gentleman. He is indeed a gentleman. He's a very kind gentleman. He's a very funny gentleman. He's a very successful gentleman, and he is our orientation facilitator. And we're going to sing his last name together like we always do. His name is John Tahbonemah. Do 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 do. Tahbonemah. Do 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 do. Tahbonemah. Do 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 do. Tahbonemah. Welcome to the show.
I'm glad to be back here.
You know, when you were on the last time, I put the Muppet music, that song underneath us. So hopefully maybe we got an earworm now for everybody who's listening to hear that song all day long.
And we're going to keep singing it because every time we see me, I want to be like, Tahbonemah.
Like you did yesterday. And so we're going to talk about orientation and get serious here in a minute. Maybe when John's in here, it's a little challenging to get serious, but it is serious business when you're teaching. And yesterday I had the opportunity to speak to your class along with Paula. We sat in your class for about 10, 15 minutes before we went up on stage there with you. I wish I had you as my teacher. Fill in the blank on the topic. The way you communicate, the way you utilize the PowerPoint, the way you work with your class and individually and collectively, I would have done well in math if you were my math teacher. And that's a huge compliment to you because I would never do well in math. You're a great teacher, man. Really, a great instructor.
I thank you for that, but just keep in mind 2 + 2 is 5.
Well, good thing he's not
we
teaching
would not
that.
have been doing math.
But you, as a million miler yourself,
Correct.
A former driver, and now an orientation facilitator, the perfect person to join us on this series, Journey to a Million Miles. So I actually were with John yesterday in the Hall of Fame. That is spelled HAUL of Fame here at Stevens Transport. And as soon as he saw his name, he kind of buffed it up a little bit and cleaned it off and made it shine and made it really pretty for everybody to see.
Well, it's because I got that really long last name. So so we got to make sure that, they're able to see it, because when they come in, we have to be able to know that they're being taught by someone who can back up their credentials. That was always my goal when I went back driving, was to get my million, get my 10 years, come back in, be able to look at the students in the eye and say, I am on that Hall of Fame.
I did it.
I am there.
Yeah.
This is what you can do.
I think it's really cool too, John, that the students walk by the Hall of Fame en route to your class. So it seems it's like that could be them one day.
That was my goal.
Yeah.
Get my million. No incident, no accident, no tickets, and get there. And because your first million is like a really big deal.
Sure it is. Yeah.
And if I do decide to go back on the road, I will be chasing my 2.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, it is giving the students the proper information, the knowledge, the procedure, and techniques to be able to sit there and say, okay, I can do a million, because it could be done in 5 or 6 years. Christy Wheeler, she did hers in 5. I got mine in 6. It can be done through the procedure and techniques of Stevens. It's being aware, it's being observant, it's following the rules of the road, knowing what you can and can't do, and never being able to push the envelope to where you put yourself or you put the public in danger.
Mm-hmm.
Stevens goes through a lot of numbers, and through these numbers, we can see a big change just within the last year with orientation and grad. So we see these numbers going up, which means that the numbers are going up.
Let's talk about those numbers. Can you talk about them specifically?
Okay, for when it comes to orientation, it is a high percentage to keep them to go into the grad phase. So they're going to finish at 240.
Mm-hmm.
From the 240, they're going to go into the grad phase.
And those will be future episodes in this Journey to a Million Miles, by the way.
Correct. And now when they go into the grad phase, then we expect them to do 90 days. Now, if we can get to follow the procedure and techniques of Stevens to understand, the when, the where, the why, as well as the how, then they can understand that the million miles is actually there. We have the loads. We need the drivers, but we need the drivers that are going to be professional drivers. If we can get them to go through 90 days, no incident, no accident, then we have a possibility of maybe a year or 2 of no incident, accident, of them actually making money and moving the goods and services throughout the United States. Because once you get to your second year, then you're pretty much almost going to be at that company, because you've already figured out how to work the system to benefit you. And Stevens here, we do have more loads than we do drivers.
Yeah, that's why we have a brokerage department.
And my understanding is one of the biggest and one of the best in this industry.
That's right. And so with a million miler such as yourself, teaching this class of how many every week-ish?
On the average, 40 to 50.
40 to 50 new drivers every week, and we need more.
Correct.
Right? We really need more to fulfill the freight, which is just, if you talk about a successful company, we have so much business, we need more drivers, a really good problem to have. But I want to learn from a Hall of Famer, especially a Hall of Famer with a personality that you have, but beyond your personality, really, which is just, who doesn't want to be around you? Honestly, you're so much fun to be around. But with the knowledge and the method at which you teach, that's what I was observing yesterday in preparation for this interview today. I never saw you teach before. I've only met you during the podcast. It's like, wow, he is really good. You really know how to get on the level of your students. That is a whole other. I mean, people are learning how to be trainers in the truck. I believe what you're doing up there in the classroom is a different animal entirely. Or is it to you?
They all go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. Now, the school sets the foundation.
Okay, excited about this new series, and hopefully you'll find it resourceful if you're looking for a new career in transportation. More episodes on the way with some incredible information for you. Time now to find out what's happening in the transportation industry and at Stevens Transport in particular with our May News Bulletin.
What we expect from the trainers and from the orientation students to go out there. Iron sharpens iron. The students are the forged blade. The trainers are your flint or your iron.
Incredible.
So as long as the students are asking questions, how was my driving today? What were my weak points? Because 21 days to create a habit. And driving is, for a company like Stevens or driving in this industry alone, you're building habit on top of habit on top of habit. We want the first 21 days to be good habits. Mm-hmm. When you make these kind of decisions between 1 to 160 decisions in a mile, because there's a lot going on when you're driving a big rig.
Yeah.
We want those decisions and those habits to overshadow any bad habit, because it could be a lifelong bad habit that you have to continuously work on. So we want them to set the procedure and techniques to get to that 1,000,000 miles.
Yeah, and not create any bad habits from the get-go.
Correct.
Change that trajectory, yeah.
No matter how good the driver is, they're always going to have bad habits. So when I was driving, I still had bad habits, and I still had to watch what I was doing. Yeah. And being a professional driver, being observant of my surroundings, knowing what I can and can't do within the truck itself.
So what you're getting, folks, our friends on the other side of the speakers who are thinking about embarking upon a career with Stevens Transport and driving a truck, one of those beautiful black trucks, is you got a little slice of the class right here. This is a little taste of what you're going to get. And the orientation is how long?
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then they go see the counselor on Thursday morning.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
And you're entertained.
And you
as long as he has his coffee in the morning, then you'll be entertained. 7-Eleven coffee, too, is what you drink, right?
Brazilian.
Dark. Oh, dark. Gotcha. All right. So if you want to get on his good side, Brazilian dark, bring that in. And he might sing for you, because his name is John Tahbonemah. John, we just went over orientation, and it's just a quick slice of what our students are going to experience moving forward. What's the next step in that journey to 1,000,000 miles? Once they're done with orientation, where do they go next?
Next step is, once you drive your 240 hours, we're going to bring you back here to Dallas. You're going to go right into your grad phase.
Grad phase is next on that journey to 1,000,000 miles on the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.
Ever wondered what it's like to drive across the country and get paid to see America's breathtaking landscapes? Welcome to life as a team driver with Stevens Transport. The life of a trucker can sometimes feel solitary, but with team driving, you're never alone. Let's dive into how teaming up with another driver can transform your trucking career. So what exactly is team driving? Simply put, it's when two drivers share the responsibilities of operating the same truck. This allows for continuous travel and efficient delivery. Federal regulations require solo drivers to be off-duty for at least 10 consecutive hours after 11 hours of driving. Team driving, however, maximizes productivity by alternating driving shifts, cutting down on overall trip times. By working in shifts, team drivers can cover over 5,500 miles a week. That's more than double what solo drivers can achieve, leading to more priority loads and higher earnings. Efficiency is key. With two drivers, tasks like loading and unloading become quicker and easier. Plus, you'll earn more per mile. One of the greatest perks? You get to choose your driving partner, whether it's a close friend or a new acquaintance. Having a partner on the road makes those long hauls more enjoyable. And what about rest? Team drivers sleep in comfy bunk beds while the truck is moving, allowing for nearly non-stop travel without sacrificing sleep. Safety is another major advantage. With two drivers, there's an added layer of oversight to ensure committed safety. So, if you're ready to take your trucking career to the next level, consider team driving with Stevens Transport. It's the perfect blend of companionship, efficiency, and increased earnings. Explore the benefits of team driving and start your adventure today with Stevens Transport. Apply now and join a team that drives you to success. Your journey starts here.
Now more than ever, truck drivers are true American heroes. The men and women who literally keep America moving by delivering goods across the country. Being a professional driver is a rewarding, financially lucrative, long-term career filled with exciting adventures. A career where you'll never have to worry about job security. If you have your CDL and keep it up, it will sustain you for the long haul. You can see the country, serve your country, and provide a good life for your family. Whether you'd rather haul on a dedicated route or lane, or prefer working with one specific customer, if you want to own your business, we have a program that sets you up for success with all the tools and support you need. We've got opportunities in our intermodal rail division and have programs to help military veterans transition into trucking careers. We have second generations of drivers whose parents have driven for Stevens, who then trained their children and are now truck drivers. Some are even small fleet owners. So, whatever your dream is, you can achieve it right here at Stevens. If you're looking for a company with a 40-plus year track record that's never had a layoff and just had the largest pay increase in company history for both new and experienced drivers, Stevens Transport has you covered. We offer the finest tools and technology and provide our drivers with the best state-of-the-art equipment on the market. Our infrastructure will support you both on and off the road. As a driver for Stevens, you become part of our family. Many companies throw the word family around. We're family-owned, family-run, and family-driven. Our 40-plus years of success is built on family. At Stevens, you're not just a number. Our drivers are part of our extended family, and we recognize and honor them every chance we get. If you want to be among the top income earners among professional drivers, if you want great benefits, if you want to have every type of driving opportunity at your fingertips, if you want to be part of a company that will stand behind you and ensure your success, come join the Stevens Transport family today and become an American hero. So, what are you waiting for? Take the first step toward your future career with the best trucking company in America. Become part of the Stevens Transport family today by calling our recruiting department at 1-800-333-8595 or apply online at stevenstransport.com.
Welcome back to the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. My name is Tim Cicciarelli, otherwise known as Trucker Tim. If you wouldn't mind, when you hit your next stop, please follow or subscribe to this podcast from whichever podcast platform you're enjoying it from. We are everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible. If it's a platform with a podcast on it, we are there. And by following the podcast, you'll have a brand new episode waiting for you each and every week as soon as it's released. And if you wouldn't mind, please leave us a review. Tell us what you like about the show and what you'd like changed. We are producing this podcast for you to keep you educated, informed, and hopefully a little entertained as well. Time now for our driver spotlight. We're going to pull some audio from a video you can find on our Stevens Transport YouTube channel. After more than 3 years of hard work, this driver completed his lease and reflects on the determination it took to achieve his goals and become a successful independent contractor. This driver highlights the importance of perseverance while acknowledging the vital role his mentor and support staff played in his success. This is the story of driver Julian Gonzalez.
My name is Julian Gonzalez. I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida. I'm an independent contractor. 3 years and 5 months. Big achievement. Took a little bit, but with focus and determination, we got it done. So when I started this whole journey, I pretty much put everything in storage and told my family at the time that I was gonna pursue this career and that I was not gonna come back until I was pretty much successful at it. So I didn't go back to West Palm. After like a year and 2 months, I pretty much lived out of the truck. I still do. And it's just given me the opportunity to what I really wanted, which was a restart of my life and be able to put myself on track with everything that I wanted to do. And one of the things that I wanted to do when I started this journey was to become a contractor. I wanted to be my own boss, the ability to manage business myself, which that's what Stevens provided for me. One of the things I most enjoy is to be able to be that stepping stone to the new driver and see them achieve things that I achieved myself and be able to teach them the right way of the trucking world. Everything is a process. Everything requires time and patience. That as long as you have your goals on track, not lose sight on it, be able to achieve success. Even so, I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to start. And then to the office staff and the contractor division and the recruiting, I'm very grateful for it.
That is audio from video you can find on our Stevens Transport YouTube channel. We'll have a link to that video in the episode notes. Time now to show our appreciation for a job well done as we tip that big 10-gallon Stevens cap to Miss Josie Garza. Now listen, Miss Josie is a veteran, not just here on the podcast, because I believe this might be, Josie, your fourth time on our show?
Yeah, I should get an extra paycheck out of y'all by now.
Well, send it up the flagpole and see how that turns out. But a veteran in the truest sense, how many years you been here, Josie?
25 and a half years.
A quarter of a century plus and some change.
Absolutely.
A quarter of a century, Miss Josie Garza. All right, you're in recruiting, obviously. Recruiting the whole time?
No, I actually started off in the mailroom. When I first started, I wanted to start ground level. Never, family's been into trucking, but I personally never have. And so I wanted to learn the business. And Angela, one day, I was on my way out the door to pick up mail, and she saw me talk to a driver hey, we've got an opportunity here for you. Let me walk you into recruiting. And she liked it, and she dragged me over here.
And that might have, I'm guessing, something that you've not done before, where you're on the phone and your sparkling personality has to shine through without seeing them.
Yeah.
Right?
I was a preschool teacher prior to coming here.
Oh, well, you had that down then. If you can handle a bunch of preschoolers, these drivers, and a piece of cake.
You know it. It's been a great ride, and I look forward to the next 25 years. So I tell you, Stevens has always taken care of me through ups and downs, and I have opportunities to change people's lives here at Stevens, especially with me talking to experienced drivers. I handle a lot of the dedicated regional local positions that the company offers our drivers. And so to be able to offer them those opportunities to me is a blessing in itself, because you have direct change in people's lives. It's amazing.
See, that's the way to go into work. With that mindset right there. It's beyond just punching a clock, doing what you got to do, punching a clock and going home and forgetting about it till the next day. If you can find purpose in what you do, and being privileged to interview people from every single department here at Stevens Transport, every single department, there's a lot of people like you, Josie, that do find purpose in what they do beyond just bringing a driver on board and changing their life, because becoming a driver opens up so many opportunities, not just on the road, but when they're done on the road, we have so many positions here at Stevens Transport that's available for them to continue their career in trucking and transportation with Stevens. And as you walked into our little recording studio today, there was a gentleman here that you recruited that has major success here at Stevens. And who are we talking about?
Greg Softy.
You recruited Greg.
I love that gentleman to death. He is a great asset to Stevens Transport, from the leadership, leading recruiting in the direction it's going now, and being able to guide us in the right direction to be successful. And which in turn, when I was nominated for my award this year, it truly is a group effort, because from Greg to management, Daniela, Melissa, Angela, we get great guidance, and we get the tools to be successful with them. So it is truly, truly a group award for me, because it's all of us.
I think it's funny that you brought up the award, because that's what I should have led with, since we're tipping our cap to you. And we're tipping our cap to you for many reasons, not just the 25 years and some change, but the honorable mention that you got. Now, with as many people that work here, boy, that's a big deal. It's voted on by your peers and the people that you work for. Is that correct?
Yes. Ownership, the executive office, management team, I guess they had some pretty good stuff to say about me, huh?
You think?
Yeah, just a little.
Where's the award now? Where do you have it?
On my desk. And actually, I was mentioned a while back. I think it was back in 2018 as well, somewhere in around that time period.
It gets lost when you have 25 years behind you.
I honestly, when I look at it, it is a group effort. As long as I've been here, I've seen the changes and the growth within the company. But to me, the most rewarding thing is the direct impact I have in people's lives. I've seen people come in with not $1 in their pocket and then look at purchasing homes and being able to support their families. And, now with everything going on and people struggling financially and stuff, it's good to have a position where, you have that stability, the company to back you up and be able to take care of your family, because that's all at the end of the day we want to be able to have a good living for our family.
Indeed. And you are the first point of contact oftentimes too, that begins that journey to 1,000,000 miles.
Absolutely.
So Miss Josie, the things that you do here at Stevens for the last 25 years, they've been in business this is our 45th year. You've been here for the lion's share of that. That's pretty incredible. For those that are embarking upon a career at Stevens, regardless of the position, what advice can someone with 25 years behind them give to somebody that's entering this company?
The one thing I think my success with what I do here is I'm always up front with my drivers. I'm not going to, sell you a bag of goods and expect, you get here and feel like you were misled. So I'm always honest with the driver, and, anybody coming in trying to pave it forward, be honest. It's an industry that is hard, but at the same time, very rewarding. And so I think that, your expectations of what the job entails. And the good thing about it is that slowly we're able to offer those drivers those home daily opportunities with some of our new accounts that we are now being able to offer those home daily accounts like Fairlife and Lidl. Those accounts get those drivers home every day. And so that's an opportunity for our drivers to be able to, come in the door fresh out of school, get your time in, learn the industry, and then eventually get into those home daily positions for those drivers that need it. And of course, Over the Road has a lot of great opportunities available for our drivers as well.
That's probably the top benefit of being a driver that I hear from our drivers when I get a chance to interview them. They get paid to go on vacation.
Absolutely.
They say, all I got to do is pick something up and drop it off, and you're going to pay me to go on vacation? Sign me up.
And I tell the drivers, I'm like, not only are you doing that, you've got the best equipment there is out there to do it in. You got a great team from, our counselors to our driver managers to our dispatchers, insurance company. We've got a great supportive team here at Stevens Transport for our drivers. And we give them the tools to be successful as well. So, anybody looking into coming into this industry, I think the way Stevens Transport looks at hiring a driver, they're not a person, they're a family when they walk in the door, with the company, because we give you what you need, and we are there through the good and the hard times in life. And, I talk to drivers who maybe would have had to get out of the industry for medical reasons, family reasons, and they always tend to return. I'm blessed in the fact that I also do rehires for the company. And so I get to talk with all sorts of drivers that have either, thought the grass was greener on the other side of the fence.
That's what Angela says all the time. The grass isn't always greener. And we know it because people leave because they're promised something. They get over there and it's like, oh, it was way better back where I was. Absolutely. And how cool that Stevens is like, come on back, like the prodigal son.
And when I talk to a lot of these drivers, maybe they go somewhere and they come to realize that maybe they aren't running their business within compliance, and they start realizing, hey, I learned the right way at Stevens, and this is not for me. I'm not going to jeopardize my driving history or my CDL for that, and so with Stevens Transport, we tend to have that safety mentality, putting the driver's safety at ahead of everything else, and also getting them home safe to their families, and I think the way the company is set up to give the drivers that supportive team, counseling them during the safety issues or as I stated, driver managers, the counselors, each department plays a big part of, taking care of that driver.
So if you're somebody thinking about entering the transportation industry as a driver and you're doing your research, like I hear so many times from the drivers, I did my research, I listened to the podcast, I read reviews, it looks like a no-brainer, folks. Come join us. Come be with us.
Absolutely. You know, in order to be successful in the industry, whether it's us or anybody else, you got to look at the freight. You got to look at your equipment. You've got to look at your team. And Stevens Transport has set you up for success.
Yeah.
I mean, they give you the latest and the newest equipment. Whether you're the guy coming straight out of school or the 20-plus year driver, you've got some of you've got the best equipment there is out there to run that freight. And the freight is phenomenal. It's consistent. You know, I always tell everybody, as long as you need to eat, we're going to be running
Freight's
freight.
there. Yeah, it's there. You're not going to be sitting around like wondering where the work is. We have so much work that we have a brokerage firm in-house to haul that freight. That's how much work we have. So
it's amazing. You know, I've been working on Purdue lately because, you know, Purdue's got some great things going on right now. And I've been working on that team as well. And I'm talking to current drivers right now, and we're offering them these opportunities to go on to Purdue. And let me tell you, it's amazing when I talk to the drivers that are out there right now driving, because I see them come in the door when they get hired on, and then they'll pop their heads in and say hello to me every now and then.
Yeah.
But for me to talk to them and see how well they're doing, it is phenomenal.
well, Miss Josie, that is success. When you find a family at work, and when you're able to make a difference in people's lives, and you listen, you've been a ray of sunshine every time I've come in here, and it's been a treat to see you again. We'll make it a fifth time when I come back a little bit later. Sound good? Miss Josie Garza, we didn't give it too much of a mention, but it deserves more. Honorable mention for 2024, and just a walking encyclopedia on how to be a great colleague and coworker. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Okay, pump the brakes on episode 147 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio podcast. If you found this podcast because you're searching for a brand new career, please make sure you visit the episode notes. We will have phone numbers and every link possible for you to learn more about Stevens Transport and even schedule a call with one of our recruiters. All the information is in the episode notes. And like we said earlier, please follow or subscribe to this podcast from whichever platform you're enjoying it from, and share it with one of your fellow drivers. We sure would appreciate it. And finally, my name is Tim Cicciarelli, otherwise known as Trucker Tim. Thanks for joining me. And until next time, be safe out there. And thanks for listening to the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.